Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So, I know I just finished, part 1 of this fan theory. Okay, so, we covered the 60s, right? But let's cover the 70s for this universe, this Fox, X-Men, Sony, Sam Raimi, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers universe, if you will. Okay, so we established that the events of X-Men First Class is canon, right? Moving forward, X-Men Days of Future Past, however, is the second most crucial part of the X-Men in the MCU as we know them to be. Here's why the X-Men are and have always been a part of the MCU right under our noses. And it is the fact that Beast and Charles Xavier both said the same exact thing. Time is like a ripple effect, or moments in life is like a ripple effect. The Trask as is the inevitable point for the X-Men in live action. Trask and the Sentinels are inevitable. They are the absolute point. They are the quintessential glitches in the Matrix. You can't have Trask without the X-Men. You can't have the X-Men without Trask. Because without Trask, the Sentinels are literally nothing. And I will come back to the Days of Future Past much later in this fan theory / review video, because there's two key important moments in this movie that we must realize. Two time periods. It's more or less 3 time periods that gets mentioned. The year 2023, 1973, and 1963. However, let's go back to 1963. Now, 1963 is an important year in the timeline. Here's why. It is one of the most important moments in timeline history. The Fox, X-Men, Sony, whatever universe you want to call it. And that is the absolute point of Jfk's assassination. Jfk's assassination is the absolute point that both teams, both groups, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and the X-Men, truly split. And that is why that day is important both in the Fox X-Men timeline and in the MCU, aka the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because you can't have the Brotherhood of Mutants not split up when the other is not split up. They both split up around the same time, because around that same time, I believe, like, the Korean War or the Cold War. Wait. I think the Cold War was like 1953 or something. The Korean War, I think, the Korean War starts in the 60s. And that is another ripple effect of its own. Because of the assassination. The assassination of Jfk is the most important detail of any history. Our history. The Marvel Cinematic Universe's history. The Fox X-Men Universe history. The Marvel Animated Universe. The Marvel comic book universe. Excuse me. Jfk getting assassinated is something that must happen in 1963. Because if it doesn't happen, any number of possibilities can be altered for the greater scale of the multiverse, or the cosmics, or the cosmos. Now, with that detail being important for the X-Men, for the Fox X-Men timeline, or the Fox X-Men Universe timeline, and the MCU timeline, we are going to start to see the merging of two universes coming together in one single movie. And that movie is Endgame. Now, I will touch upon Endgame in a moment in future videos. But for right now, the X-Men being crucial to the MCU moving forward with Egyptian gods being inside people. That just sounded creepy. Using people as pawns in their cosmic schemes and whatever is being redone, is being it's more or less the coming back of the Egyptian gods that really makes this video, this movie crucial because Days of Future Past sets up Apocalypse. Even though that is a really bad movie, Apocalypse is just the start of everything that is about to ensue and whatnot. However, Days of Future Past is also the next point of Wolverine's story moving forward because of what transpired. We saw him in the 60s telling Eric Lancher, who's played by Michael Fassbender, which I remembered, by the way, and James McAvoy, and Charles Xavier, played by James McAvoy, telling them to fuck themselves because he does not want to be a part of whatever shenanigans they're going to have, This is the next step into Wolverine, aka James Howlett, aka Logan, starting to see that he needs the X-Men, or he needs to find that team, and that's the next point I want to make, is whether you believe it or not, the X-Men, the Fox X-Men, whatever universe you want to call it, has already happened in the MCU. Whether we like to believe it or not, it happened. It does exist. It did happen. Right under our noses. Now, I could be wrong. I could be right. Anything is possible. But this is just a fan theory. Don't hold me accountable. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the Fox X-Men universe is and has always been a part of the MCU, whether we like to say it isn't or it wasn't. And this movie sets up the path of everything that transpires from after Logan drowns and dies in the water in 1973. And in 1973, somewhere from 1973, he escapes Mystique, who is masquerading as William Stryker. Excuse me. and goes off, joins the real William Stryker, and gets captured, or goes through the Weapon X program in 1973. Or no, he leaves William Stryker's team in 1973, and 6 years later, which I will touch upon in tomorrow's video, we get the events of X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, that is another crucial point in the Fox X-Men / MCU timeline history that is an absolute point. Because without that connected tissue, we have no evidence of basis for everything that's going to happen in Moon Knight. And we need Moon Knight. We need the Fox X-Men universe to be canon and set up Moon Knight. Because one thing Moon Knight has is Egyptian gods. Who deals with the Egyptian gods? The X-Men. And not just only the X-Men, but Legion himself, Charles Xavier's son, which I will touch upon in a moment, in like 2 videos, after 2 videos, because it is the movie that is the next crucial point. It is Legion that is the third. It is Legion the movie that is the third important step in connecting this universe all together. And I will explain why and how. Now, that's all I have for you guys so far. For right now. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.